we have a question here from Yolanda, and it looks like my brother-in-law, Lane Ostro, will be joining us momentarily. I see that he may have connected.
Yep.
So hopefully he's a busy guy, but hopefully everything works when we bring him up in a moment. But real quick, Yolanda is asking about a child, I don't know what age, but stage 4 cancer. She says he's doing well. He's home from the hospital, and he's doing well, but she's wondering about Cardio Miracle. Listen, Cardio Miracle is a whole food product, a lot of antioxidants, etc., helping with blood flow. Anybody that's dealing with, any chronic disease is going to be helped by mostly, enhanced oxygenation, blood flow, and all of that. Cancer abhors oxygen for one. And so you want to have good flow. Would Cardio Miracle be helpful? I would say in a general way, yes, but I can't intervene in obviously a cancer patient to tell you definitively. I don't know enough about the case, but overall, I would have no problem with it to utilize that. And that's not the nature of the connection I have with my brother-in-law here as he joins us, Lane Ostro from the highway somewhere. Hopefully he's pulled over safely, talking about Cardio Miracle, because it's a funny story. And Lane, let's see if we can get you up here. Hopefully, Lane, I see you. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm here. Good. Thanks. I haven't pulled over.
Yay. All right. So Lane has appeared on the show over the years because he was doing a lot of great work in supporting some veterans issues. And Super Don remembered you immediately. He's like, Lane, I remember we had him on a bunch back in the day. And so
by the way, we're back on that project, but we'll come back to that another time.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So I want to share this funny backstory is that, I don't know that you've been watching my show in a lot of years because you ordered some Cardio Miracle apparently. And my son, your nephew, Elijah, calls me and said, hey, Uncle Lane just ordered some Cardio Miracle. And apparently he was working at the fulfillment at the moment. And he called you and he says, Uncle Lane, I just shipped packaged your Cardio Miracle. And I thought that was hilarious.
No, it's even funnier, actually. I'm gonna take that story up one notch because first of all, it came recommended to me by someone not named you as a product, so that was good for you guys. I think that's a nice testimonial. There was another naturopath who basically said you got to get on this stuff, and so I placed my order, and I get a text that says your order is being processed, and I said, oh, that's normal. Except I look and it's from Elijah, and I said, he didn't say, hey, Uncle Lane, like, I can't believe I saw your name. He just said your order's being processed like it was anyone else. And I wrote back, I said, Elijah, is that you? He goes, yeah, I saw your name in the queue. And I checked my phone and it was the same number. I said, but you didn't tell me who you were. Like, I literally thought someone else had hijacked his phone. Like, I'm going, like, I had no idea you worked there. I didn't know anything about it. And I get this note saying we're processing your order like it was anyone else. So I thought it was hysterical that he didn't tell me anything,
That's just like Elijah, though. That's the way he likes to play.
It was a classic one. So
sneaking on in like that.
Yeah. So anyway, it's I'm here to sing the praises of the product. So
well, Elaine, let me ask you. I mean, obviously, if a naturopath or somebody said you should be on it, were there indications, health parameters, or blood? Anything that you had that said, yeah, this is something I could benefit, and I might be able to measure it in addition to how I feel.
Yeah, so I have a high cardiac calcium score. So let me start with that. And so alarm bells sounding there, but not in itself a problem necessarily, right? You got to know more information than that. And so when I ran the first round of tests, I used the function health testing. So they look for 130 different tests, and my particle scores were high. My cholesterol's always been good and fine and no issues, but it's a little like looking at your scale and not knowing how much of you is muscle versus fat. It's just not enough information.
Right.
And so when I did the next level down, I had a fairly high particle number, which is the real risk, right? And then the ratio inside the particle numbers, the large to small, is another set of risks. And so I had 2 consecutive years of those numbers being higher than they should be. And the only thing I have done differently, because I box, I play racquetball, I watch my diet pretty well, all those things have remained constant. Literally the only thing I added was 90 days of Cardio Miracle into my mix of things I was already doing. And my particle score didn't just drop. I mean, the prior 2 numbers where I got my test results in front of me so I can be accurate. The first year was 1648, the second year was 1632, and this year was 953. And the break point is around 1100 between good and bad. And so not only did I get closer to good, I'm in the good. And so that was a huge number. I mean, literally woke me up. And I called you and said, this stuff works.
Yes.
And because I have not, I mean, normally I would tell you, I'm not really sure what it is. I'm doing other things, but no, I use a sauna, I use cryo, I do all these other things, but I've been doing those things. So the only addition to my regimen was this, and to see that kind of a drop was alarming. I have a cardiologist who's a concierge cardiologist, and he said, "Oh my God, like I'm putting everybody on this now." So he's you'll start seeing it. I sent him the link to your site, to the site.
Oh, and thank you.
He said, "Yeah, we're gonna put." He said, "I'll tell everyone. I'm going to show them your results, and let them make their own decision, but I'm going to recommend that they do it because I literally have nothing else to point to. Like
right.
I was already doing all the other stuff, and I added this."
That's cool. Now, Lane, and you know me, I've been in the natural product ever since you've known me, right? When we met.
Yeah, absolutely.
Became family. So for me to even go on a product like this, it took a lot for John Hewlett, the man who developed it, right? And I'm like, he's trying to talk about my product on the, like everybody does that. And I'm like, I don't know, John. I mean, and yet when I put my producer on it and his migraines went away, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's something. And I know vascular relation to headaches and such. And then I got on it and I'm like, I'm doing the kickboxing, right? And suddenly the trainers can't get me into the yellow zone, which was optimal, where before, everybody's in the red zone. I'm in, my 50s, late 50s now, and I'm running circles around people in their 20s and 30s. I'm like, heart rate variability, recovery time, oxygenation, so I didn't have any of the markers you're talking about, but to have that measured situation significantly improved. Do you also feel it too? Is it more than just a blood number?
No, I do feel it. Yeah. It's I box all the time. I do kickboxing, and I definitely have a different level of capacity now. And it's a little hard to explain. It's like getting a good night's sleep versus a bad one kind of thing. And you just can go the distance a little bit more and feel a little more energy. But I don't feel my blood flowing better, but I can't imagine what else is the source that's different. Because again, I've been boxing for 7 years at this level, and no change. But now I can operate at a different level, and I'm finding it easier. Here's an interesting one. I'm finding it easier to build muscle, which is a strange. Again, you could tell me physiologically why that's true. I'm just happy it's happening. You can actually tell me why. But the fact that it's I've seen that was the other thing. He tests me on an in-body scale regularly, and I literally have the highest muscle percentage in my body that I've had since he's been measuring me over the last decade.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm about 7 pounds of muscle stronger than I was 2 years ago.
Oh, fantastic. And it's at least in part explained. I know there are a lot of nuances to this, and I've interviewed people about this. In fact, one of my friends is a neuroscientist, a doctor that's honestly a brain surgeon. When you say, well, it's not brain surgery. Well, this guy's a brain surgeon, and he's a big endorser of the Cardio Miracle. He knows that the blood flow is everything to everything. And of course, oxygenation to the muscle cells, things like the efficiency of removing waste or recycling waste. That's autophagy. All of these things enhanced via the Cardio Miracle formulation, the countering of the oxidative rise of peroxynitrite, which was, again, a concern for me. Why, when people tell me I'm taking this and I'm getting nitric oxide, I'm like, do you know what else is coming up with that? They're like, no, what? And I mentioned the peroxynitrite. I'm like, that's not good, but it counters it and reduces. So you're reducing the oxidative stress while enhancing oxygenation. All of that makes sense. But I was thrilled when I heard that was working that way for you as it did for me. And I'm still seeing things that, defy sort of logic when we talk about the aging process. How are we able to do things better in our 50s and 60s? Because we didn't have the knowledge of nutrition our bodies needed. Now we're delivering it.
No doubt. And I've been on creatine for a while, and I believe there's some relationship that the Cardio Miracle is helping the creatine do its job on the muscle build. For whatever it is, it's been, again, I won't go off of it. And I've started my several family members. Ellie's on it now as well. Awesome. And so again, I think there's just not a reason to not be doing that. And so whether it's in reaction to something that's bad or preventative to not let things get bad, which I'd much rather see people do it that way. I just think it's the product is what it's supposed to be, which is rare in today's world. So, you see a lot of supplements and a lot of claims and a lot of BS. I look at it a little bit like my golf game. If all the clubs in my golf bag did what they were supposed to do, I'd be shooting under par every round. But that's not exactly how it works. If all the pills I was taking were doing what they want, I would weigh exactly what I want to weigh, but that's not what happens. So it's nice to come across something that actually does what it claims to do.